Jadi sekarang kita akan menyaksikan Malam Gelar Talenta yang akan diikuti oleh seluruh persekutuan dari kelompok pelayanan 1 sampai dengan kelompok pelayanan 11.
Good evening, everyone. The honorable 5 judges, audiences, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Carla Cameron Mamarimbing, and I'm from Kelompok Pelayanan 3. In this beautiful night, I would like to tell a story about the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. But before we start, I kindly ask to all the audience to be silent. In 3, 2, 1. A very long time ago, in a land called Bethlehem, there was born and lived a man whose name was Jesus Christ. He was the Son of God and the Savior for the whole world. During his life, he started teaching people about God. And he made a lot of miracles too, such as turned the water into wine, fed thousands of needy people with just 5 breads and 2 fishes. Also healed the sick ones, and even awakened the dead into life. So that's why he's loved and followed by so many people because of his kindness and personality. Meanwhile, in other side, there are several people who are jealous of him, and they had planned to kill him. One of Jesus' disciples, Judas Iscariot, gathered with them, and he agreed to kill Jesus. He was paid with 30 pieces of silver. So, this means Jesus was betrayed by his own disciple. One night, Jesus, along with his disciples, went to the Gethsemane garden. While the others fell asleep, Jesus went to a rock and prayed to God. He had realized that he would be crucified. Then Judas Iscariot, with the Roman soldiers, came and arrested Jesus, and they brought him to meet the Roman governor, Pontius Pilate. In front of Pilate, Jesus was asked with a few tricky questions. Some people also made false witness about him, but they didn't find a reason to punish him. Despite of being tried, Jesus was still calm and didn't respond to all the fake statements. But the crowds kept shouting and forcing Pilate to crucify Jesus. "Crucify him! Crucify him!" They shouted loudly. They even asked Pilate to release Barabbas, the one who actually supposed to be crucified, instead of Jesus, who did nothing wrong. Pontius Pilate knew that Jesus was innocent. But sadly, he couldn't do anything to release Jesus. The situation was getting out of his hand. In front of the crowds, he washed his hands and said, "I am innocent of this man's blood. The responsibility of his death is on you." After that, Roman soldiers brought Jesus, and they started to whip Jesus hardly, and they even spit on him. A crown of thorns was placed on his head. They made Jesus carry a heavy cross and led him to a hill called Golgotha. On the way to Golgotha, Jesus fell down under the cross. He was too weak to carry the heavy cross. Then a man named Simon from Cyrene came out of the crowds and helped Jesus carry the cross to Golgotha. In the Golgotha, the Roman soldiers furiously nailed Jesus' hands and feet to the cross. And after that, they pulled the cross. Jesus was crucified between two criminals who had done very bad things. One of the criminals mocked Jesus and said, "Aren't you the Christ? Then save yourself and us." But the second criminal defended him and said, "Don't you fear God? You and I had done very bad things, and we deserve to die. But this man, he has done nothing wrong. Jesus, please remember me when you come in your kingdom." Jesus replied to the second criminal and said, "I tell you the truth. Today, you'll be with me in paradise." Once Jesus was crucified, the sky darkened and the whole world became dark. Jesus cried with a loud voice and said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Father, into your hand I commit my spirit. It is finished." Jesus took his last breath, and after that, he died. People who followed Jesus were very sad about Jesus' death. They saw how Jesus was killed and tormented on the cross. Before sunset, after Jesus died, a man named Joseph came to take care of Jesus' body. Joseph was a rich man who had come from Arimathea. Joseph, with his friend Nicodemus, took Jesus' body, wrapped it in a linen, and buried it in a tomb. 3 days later, the sun was finally rising. It was a very bright Sunday. Mary Magdalene and a couple of women came early in the morning to the tomb. By the time they arrived, they were very shocked because the tomb was already opened and they couldn't find Jesus' body in the tomb. Suddenly, an angel appeared in front of them and shined like lightning. They were very scared when they saw the angel, but the angel told them that Jesus is finally rising from the dead and told them to tell this news to the other disciples. Mary Magdalene ran excitedly to tell the news to the other disciples. But when she told this news to the other disciples, her words just sounded like pure nonsense to them. Then Peter and John ran quickly to the tomb to check it themselves. But all they found was only Jesus' burial clothes. After resurrected from the dead, Jesus made a few appearances in front of several people, such as Mary Magdalene, Peter, and his disciples. But when he appeared in front of Thomas, Thomas didn't believe it was him until he touched Jesus' body himself. On the 40th day after resurrected from the dead, Jesus was finally ascended and back to heaven. Amen. That's all of the story. But before this ends, I would like to tell something to all of us here. Jesus was crucified on the cross to save all of us from the dark. And I hope the Easter day this year can be filled with a lot of bless and happiness. Selamat merayakan Paskah untuk kita semua. Tuhan Yesus memberkati. Shalom.